It has not even been a week, everybody, from the most game-changing realignment election of a lifetime. The more that we pour over the numbers of what happened last week, it still has not set in. Do you guys agree? Do you guys agree that it just has not set in? It's just, there is almost a feeling of an American Renaissance. And I don't want to share too many details. In fact, I will not. But spending the weekend in and around Mar-a-Lago, seeing the president, I have never been more hopeful for what this transition will deliver. The transition team is so focused, from Stephen Miller to Howard Lutnick, the whole team. They're doing a phenomenal job from what I've been able to see to fulfill the president's agenda. In every conversation that I have been able to witness or I've been able to hear, it's, but do they believe what we believe? It's not, did they work for John McCain? It's not, do they have a nice biography? None of that matters. It is a completely different transition than what I was able to witness back in 2016 and 2017. And that should give you a lot of encouragement, everybody, that there is this pace, this focus about fulfilling what the American people gave us. And what did the American people give us? Well, first and foremost, they rejected the entire mantra of the Democrat Party out of the gate. They rejected it. They rejected what the Democrat Party believes, who the Democrat Party is, and they did a complete repudiation. But also, this is a realignment that puts the American people back in charge, that puts the American people back in the driver's seat of the nation that we own. We own this country. The American people are in charge. It's we the people, not we the plutocrats, not we the bureaucrats. It is we the people. You see, the Democrat Party bet big that a small subset of issues that are hyper-emotional and very divisive were going to determine the 2024 election. Instead, we have been praying and working for a constitutional reset, and we received a constitutional reset. And I want to just say again, for all of you that worked and chased ballots, that registered voters, for all of you, you guys did it. You know, the funny joke is people say, Charlie, I can watch the news again, which is very good for our program, mind you. Left-wing programs and networks and YouTube channels are going down significantly, understandably. Democrats really thought Kamala Harris was going to win. I still thought it was 50-50, and you go through these numbers, by the way, it was far closer than some people realize. In Wisconsin, for example, or Michigan. Pennsylvania ended up being quite decisive, thanks to the work, obviously, of President Trump and Elon Musk. Fulfilling the mandate is going to be the new ethos of this program. From now until high noon on January 20th, when President Donald Trump says, "So help me God," and lifts his hand off the King James Bible, this program will be primarily focused on fulfilling the mandate. You, the American people, gave the president and gave his entire team, gave all of us marching orders. We don't get to decide what happens. You told us that you want your borders closed, you want business as usual to change, that you want no men and women's sports. And keeping the feet to the fire is incredibly important on this, but I have to say, witnessing some conversations and being part of some, I was so encouraged that at least a week in, this is not the good old boys network that is rolling in. And let's look at just some of the picks that President Trump has made. Now, mind you, the Elise Stefanik pick is not confirmed. It is not confirmed. So that is, if you have not seen it on President Trump's Truth Social, it is not confirmed, okay? However, Susie Wiles, amazing, she earned it. And then the one that is confirmed, Tom Homan, the beast, the man. Officially, the borders are. This is how important the border is to President Trump. Fulfilling the mandate, former ICE director. I do a chief of staff #1 and a borders are #2. That's pretty important, everybody. Think about that. Chief of staff, borders are, right out of the gate. President Trump is obsessed with making sure that he does what the American people voted for. Telegraphing priorities. You know, caravans are already starting to break up and go back to their home countries. Caravans are already starting to say, you know, we've had enough. This is Tom Homan. Let's begin with his dialogue with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Play cut 336.
And so the recommendation of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is whenever a U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Holman, with
family.
all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way.
Do it the legal way. Tom Homan is a wrecking ball into this open border scam that we are living through. This is a major power play by President Trump saying, no, I'm not going to be manipulated by you. A spine of steel. So number one is chief of staff, and before even all the deputy positions are filled, before a national security advisor, I want you to know how rare this is. Typically, the standard operating procedure is chief of staff, the deputies, the clerks, and then you go into all the national security positions. But guess what? The border is a national security position. Our open border being invaded every day. We are being invaded by a foreign nation, the Mexican drug cartels, which will hopefully, God willing, soon be reclassified as a terrorist organization. And President Trump turns with his transition. Number one, chief of staff, which of course you need to do. You need to make sure the air traffic control has some sort of regular order. And then boom, number two, straight out of the gate, border czar. We've never seen this in American history. In the final weeks of the campaign, President Trump kept repeating that the border is his number one priority. And this is a clear message to D.C. We're going to get this thing solved. I've never been more hopeful, even in the 4 years of the first presidency of Trump, that we are going to have a sealed and closed border. And you know who that's good for? It's good for the young girls that are being sex trafficked from the southern countries. It's good for all the kids that are dying from fentanyl. It's good for the people that are seeing their wages undercut. It's good for the people that are seeing their communities overrun by illegals and foreigners. Tom Homan will solve this. The guy's a beast. He's as good as it gets. Play cut 335 of him on 60 Minutes.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
It's as good as it gets. By the way, he served under Obama. This guy understands the issue at the border. He's going to be the field marshal. Think of this guy as the General Patton of the United States southern border. That's right. He is going to be the guy that calls the shots. And I think a military analogy is exactly appropriate given the fact that we are being invaded as a nation. And we need that kind of lead, follow, or get out of the way mindset that George Patton would give. Tom Homan, the George Patton of the southern border. He's been there. He knows every detail. He knows everything a border agent can do and can't do. He knows how to work with all the interagencies. And he is an ice cold. I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to say it. He's as good as it gets.